Remember the 5th of November, the gunpowder, treason, and plot. I know of no reason why the gunpowder treason should ever be forgot.
Hello Internet, my name is Kiri Callaghan and you're watching Curiosity, the vlog where we get nerdy on geek culture. Happy Guy Fawkes Day! Or 5th of November if you're not in the Great Britain area and don't really know it as that. Most of you probably know that rhyme from earlier, at least from V for Vendetta, if nothing else. Of course, if you live in the Great Britain area, you've probably actually celebrated Guy Fawkes Night, or Bonfire Night, or Firework Night, as it also is sometimes known. However, if you don't live in Great Britain, you probably at least have a basic understanding of what happened that night, November 5th, 1605. But today being what it is, I figure it's a great time to go over some more in-detail facts and some conspiracies revolving around the Gunpowder Plot.
So basically, the Catholics in England had expected King James to be more tolerant of them, when instead he had proved to be the opposite and ordered all of the Catholic priests to leave England. Which, when you consider how one of his predecessors, Bloody Mary Tudor, expressed her religious intolerance, exile seems pretty lenient. What's important to understand here is that he had the House of Commons classify all Catholics as excommunicates. This law meant that no one had to pay Catholics rent, that Catholics could no longer make wills, that Catholics could no longer go to the law when people owed them debts, etc. To all intents, the law made Catholics outcasts and enemies of the state, and gave pretty much no Catholic any reason to stay in the country. So while he wasn't executing them right and left like Mary had, he eliminated their ability to live prosperously. However, James' supporters still thought he might be too soft on them, especially his chief minister, the Earl of Salisbury, a man by the name of Robert Cecil. Now, the Catholics obviously weren't happy about this exile.
Not fair!
You say that so often. I wonder what your basis for comparison is.
Quite rightly, I should add, and decided to retaliate.
Yeah, be prepared! Yeah, we'll be prepared. For what?
For the death of the king.
Why, is he sick?
No, fool, we're gonna kill him.
This led to a plot to kill not only the King of England, but also everyone sitting in Parliament, as James would be there when he opened Parliament on November 5th, 1605. The idea was with James and Parliament dead, his daughter Elizabeth would ascend to the throne and they would ensure that she was Catholic. While Guy Fawkes is the man most famously attributed to the plot, he was not its leader. History assigns that job to a man by the name of Robert Catesby, and it's believed that the conspirators totaled to 14 in number. They rented a house right by Parliament and managed to smuggle 36 barrels of gunpowder into a cellar under the House of Lords. Fawkes was actually the group's explosive expert and had been left in the cellars to set off the fuse. However, this big bang would fizzle out anticlimactically, as Fawkes was discovered when a group of guards decided to check the cellars at the last moment. James ordered Fawkes be sent to the Tower and information be extracted through whatever means of torture necessary. Eventually, Fawkes gave the name of his fellow conspirators, and they were all sent to the Tower, received a brief trial, were hung, drawn, and quartered in January 1606. Those who managed to escape were chased down by the law and then shot. In celebration of his survival, James ordered that the people of England should have a great bonfire on the night of November 5th. This fire was traditionally topped off with an effigy of the Pope rather than Guy Fawkes. His place at the top of the fire came in later, as did fireworks. But now we know the story, we can talk about the more curious facts. For instance, I'm curious where 14 Catholics got a hold of 36 barrels of gunpowder. At the time, the government had a monopoly on gunpowder, and it was stored in places like the Tower of London. And furthermore, how did those 36 barrels get transported nearly 2 miles without being seen? The River Thames would not have been used, as it could have made the powder damp and useless. Why were men who were known Catholics allowed to rent a house so near Parliament with the law so decidedly against them? Again, how did they move 36 barrels of gunpowder from the house and into the Parliament cellar? Why, for the first time, was there a search of Parliament cellars that conveniently found Guy Fawkes before he lit the fuse? And lastly, why was the soldier who hunted down the escaped conspirators, Catesby and Percy, given such a large pension, when their arrest and torture was more desirable so that the names of any more conspirators may have been found out. The Gunpowder Plot has a lot of plot holes when you sit down and think about it, and a popular theory among historians is that there was a double conspiracy orchestrated by Robert Cecil himself. The idea is that in order to convince James that Catholics were a real threat, conspirators would be led on in a plot to kill the king and foiled at the last minute. Oddly, though Cecil and Catesby never met, on his deathbed, Catesby's servant claimed that Catesby visited Cecil 3 times in the months leading up to November 5th.
Now this, of course, is just one perceived side of the story. There are counter-arguments and other curiosities surrounding the Gunpowder Plot. However, I'd like you to use this as a springboard for your own research. I'm really excited to see what you think about some of the other oddities revolving around this, especially Francis Tresham and his cousin, the Lord Monteagle. Oh, and if you ever have a chance to see a play by Bill Kane called Equivocation, do it. It's not shown enough, but it revolves around Shakespeare and the Gunpowder Plot and sort of this what if, and it's fantastic and a beautiful piece of fiction that looks at just the human condition and all the... It's good. It's amazing. Go. Normally I don't do fiction recommendations, but seriously, go if you have the chance. What do you think really happened on the 5th of November? Leave your thoughts in the comments below. For more curious tales, head over to Dale Kingsmill's Mythology blog. If you are celebrating Guy Fawkes Night tonight, I hope it's fantastic. Like and subscribe for more videos like this one, and until next time, stay curious.